Before adding ocean and haze, let's change the lighting. We're currently still looking north with our default morning light. Since most of our view is west-facing terrain, let's move our sunlight position to later in the day. Go to the Light Task mode in the Scene at a Glance, expand the Lights category, and you'll see the single default light created by WCS when the project was created. Open the Light Editor and go to the Position and Orientation page. Click Set Position by Time to open the Light Position by Time window. Change the time of day to 3 p.m. Keep it, save the project, and render. Since this is advertised as an island project, we should probably add some water to it. Go to the Water Task mode, and you'll see that we have no bold categories, which means no components yet. Right-click the Lakes category and add component of this type. This will open up the Lake Editor ready for us to create a lake from scratch. You may have noticed the resolution parameter in several of the editors we've worked with. By default, component resolution is floating, which means it matches or floats with the project DEM resolution. If you see a resolution of 90 meters when the first component in a category is added, chances are it's lost its float. Deselect and select the floating checkbox to reset the resolution to match the underlying DEMs. Rename the lake Ocean and set the value with the Enter key. Using the Enter key to set values after entry is another good habit to get into. We need an elevation for our ocean, so click around the render where we want the shoreline to be. Let's make it out here along this ridge. According to the diagnostic data window, the elevation is about 1950 meters. Enter that into the Lake Editor elevation field, press the Enter key, and you'll see water rise up around our island in the planimetric OpenGL view. Save the project and render another main camera view. I'm going to use the Escape key to stop the render. You can also use the Abort Operations stoplight button at the right end of the animation toolbar. I'm doing this to show you the new transparent water feature in WCS 6. I stopped the render because most of the transparency will be lost in the reflections pass. Start the render again, and let's see our scene so far. If you click on the tan polygons along the foreground shore, Diagnostics will tell you their lake component. That's beach associated with the lake, and you can see obvious polygons in our 10-meter terrain because we're rendering at our lowest terrain detail setting, or fractal depth. Go to the Terrain Task mode, double-click the Terrain Parameters to open its only component, and increase the maximum fractal depth to 3. Save your project, and render. More render detail means longer renders, so only increase maximum fractal depth as much as you have to. This preview rendered at a fractal depth of 0 in about 10 seconds on this computer. The fractal depth 3 render took nearly 30 seconds. As you can see, it was worth the increased render time. Polygons are no longer visible in the terrain. We'll look more at how terrain renders in WCS in the Terrain Basics section. Let's add a moon to fill up some of that sky. Go to the Sky Task mode and expand the Celestial Objects category. We have a moon and sun image by default, but they aren't enabled. Double-click the moon item to open its editor and activate it. Check the enabled box in the Celestial Object Editor and Control-click to place the moon in the sky to the left of the island. To enlarge it, go to the Size and Position page and increase the size factor to 10,000. Select the Move Mode button on the toolbar above the main view and click and drag the moon to a new position. This will take some getting used to because you are changing the moon's latitude and longitude, which does not translate into movement that follows the mouse pointer. Save the project and render a preview.